Everything you encounter is attracted by your own magnetic field. In 2019, the California Institute of Technology published a scientific study in the journal Neuro, which showed that the human brain can not only sense magnetic fields, but also react to them. This reminds me of the quote from Rhonda Byrne's book, The Power. Everyone has a magnetic field around them. Wherever you go, your magnetic field follows, and your magnetic field also attracts people and things with the same energy. In other words, everything you encounter, good or bad, is actually attracted by your own magnetic field. 1. The people and things you dislike are attracted by your negative energy. In the book Murphy's Law, there is a story. One day, a wealthy woman went to a jewelry store to pick out jewelry. While she was picking out a necklace, a man next to her accidentally stepped on her foot. Before he could even react, she began to shout at him. The man apologized, but she didn't appreciate it at all. She continued to yell at him and stormed out of the store. On the drive home, the woman encountered traffic and became even more irritable. She honked her horn and shouted out the window, "Can't you drive?" As the traffic slowly moved forward, the woman encountered a large truck at the next intersection. She was about to honk her horn to remind the driver to move over, but the truck slowed down and stopped. The truck driver smiled at her and signaled for her to go ahead. For some reason, all the negative emotions that she had been feeling suddenly disappeared. When she got home, she found that her lazy husband had already prepared dinner, and her children, who used to make a mess at home, were sitting quietly on the couch playing with their toys. Before, she would always be angry when she got home and saw her husband and children. But now she realized that her family could be so happy and warm. When she complained, her world was gray. She stood in the center of that gray circle and kept emitting resentment. But when she was in a joyful mood, she saw a colorful world. There's a saying, the more negative energy you have, the more likely you are to attract garbage people. If a person is always complaining and hostile to their surroundings, their negative magnetic field will attract more and more emotional garbage, eventually forming an emotional black hole that will trap them and attract more negative people. Many times you may feel that life is unfair and that you encounter only bad people and things. But in reality, the people and things you dislike may be attracted by your own negative energy. 2. Everything you encounter is due to your magnetic field. A psychologist once conducted an experiment. He put 2 monkeys in 2 rooms full of mirrors. The first monkey was gentle and lively. As soon as it entered the room, it saw many companions and smiled and greeted them. The companions also responded to it. Soon it played with its companions in the mirrors, and the atmosphere became very pleasant. The second monkey was pessimistic and often sighed. As soon as it entered the room, it saw its counterparts in the mirrors all with drooping faces and emitting a sense of despair. It lowered its head, walked to a corner, and then crouched there every day, watching other companions also hiding in the corners and shaking its head and sighing. 3 days later, the researchers went to check on the 2 monkeys. When the first monkey left the room, it was still reluctant to leave its friends. The second monkey, however, was so depressed that it was on the verge of death. At the end of the experiment, the researchers said, "Humans and monkeys are not much different. What you see is determined by your heart. Your emotions and attitudes towards the outside world will ultimately return to yourself." I remembered a word of advice from a senior colleague in the media industry when I first started working. No matter what job you do, ability is actually secondary. The most important thing is your mindset and posture. In our line of work, there are many things to do and it can be chaotic. So, your mindset must be good. Don't complain too much or vent your frustrations. Complaints not only will not get anyone's sympathy, but also will make people dislike you more. If you have a good posture and a positive mindset, your ability will naturally follow. At the time, I thought I understood this advice, but it wasn't until I worked for several years that I gradually understood. No matter what you do, people who complain all day long and emit negative energy are unlikely to succeed. A person's situation is often determined by their own state of mind. The more people love to complain, the worse off they are. American psychology professor David Hawkins also said, "A positive person's magnetic field will bring order and beauty to everything." And when a person is full of negative energy, it not only hurts themselves, but also makes the surrounding magnetic field chaotic and terrible. People who complain for a long time will create a negative emotional atmosphere around them, and everything they see will be negative. The negative information that you radiate out will eventually come back and affect you. When your mindset and posture are right, and you are in a positive energy magnetic field, even if you encounter great difficulties, you will not feel discouraged or blame others. As long as you maintain a positive and optimistic mindset, good luck will naturally come to you. 03. Your magnetic field determines your destiny. Everyone's emotional magnetic field can actually be determined by themselves. When we are in a negative emotional state, how can we change our magnetic field to change our destiny? Here are 2 small methods to share with everyone. 1. Change your external environment. Get closer to positive energy fields and spend time with positive people. When Shi Tisheng was in his 20s, he suddenly became disabled in both legs and was confined to a wheelchair, which was a huge blow to his formerly vigorous life. He was lost in self-pity and complained about the unfairness of his fate. His friend, Liu Qing, went to comfort him and suggested that he try to use writing to heal himself. Shi Tisheng took up the pen and found the courage to live again through writing and thinking. Later, Liu Qing encouraged him to write screenplays and novels. At first, Shi Tisheng felt overwhelmed and kept pushing it off. But Liu Qing told him, "In my experience, you are definitely capable of being a good writer." In his dark times, Liu Qing's optimism and positive energy gradually infected him. He eventually emerged from his predicament, became optimistic and cheerful, and wrote one book after another. A study conducted by the University of California showed that contact with happy people can increase personal happiness. And if you know someone who is happy, your chances of being happy will increase by 15%. Emotions can be contagious between people, so when you are feeling low and in a bad mood, you should actively seek out positive energy and spend time with positive people. Even if life is tough, you will find joy in it when you are around positive energy fields and people. 2. Enhance your inner energy. Give yourself positive energy instead of negative energy. TED speaker Lena grew up in poverty and homelessness, experiencing all the hardships of life since childhood. As an adult, her relationship with her family deteriorated, and she faced unemployment, depression, and was diagnosed with a brain tumor. She spent many sleepless nights in anxiety and despair, until one day she accidentally came across the law of attraction. Everything that happens to you is attracted by you. She suddenly realized that all the unfortunate experiences were actually the result of her own choices. Instead of complaining about her environment, she chose to change herself. From that moment on, she stopped giving up on herself and invested all her time in improving herself. She replaced despair with optimism, medication with exercise, and TV with reading. With one action after another, she actively sought healing. Gradually, everything around her started to improve. The negative energy that was once present in her life had been astonishingly reversed through her efforts. When you are in a low mood, you must enhance your inner positive energy. When the positive energy field within you becomes stronger, you will transform into a stronger magnetic pole and gradually attract everything you want. Best-selling author H.B. Dawa once said in his book, Magnetic Field, "The so-called magnetic field is actually your attraction. The world you see is all drawn from your inner world. If your inner world is impure and dark, you will likely encounter petty people. If you are irritable and complain a lot, you will mostly encounter garbage people. On the other hand, if you have a positive and sunny inner world, you will encounter warmth. If you are optimistic, cheerful, and helpful, you will also encounter the good and kind. If you want to meet a certain kind of person, you must first become that kind of person yourself. If you want to attract a certain kind of life, you must first possess that kind of magnetic field. When you are in a positive magnetic field, all beauty will come unexpectedly. Give a thumbs up and use your positive magnetic field to dispel all the misfortunes in your life and attract good people and good things. Thanks for watching.